K&C Fisheries Global Food Processing Factory in Wabasha, a fully certified HACCP food processing factory. It's situated on 5 acres of land with road frontage and no building on the other side of the road, as it's a gravel pit, so we're well clear of any other obstructions. This is the front door unloading area. It is just flat to the ground. At the back of the factory there are 2 loading docks. Straight ahead of us is the first of the chiller rooms as we go in. To our right, in the front of this room, is also a little maintenance area and tool storage and things like that. If we just move a little bit further along, we can see here's the powerhouse for all of the refrigeration, for all of the freezers and chillers. And as we turn back around again, we see that chiller room door just open, and we'll just have a quick look right along the back end of the factory. This is right the corridor from one end to the other end. We're now going to enter through the front door of the chiller. As we look to the left, you'll see the other door, which is outward into the processing area. As we look along the wall, you'll see there is room for 8 pallets of space, and basically we can stack 4 of these totes high. Along the back wall we can stack 5, and that gives us a floor space of 40 on the floor, 160 in total. This room has a 2-ton ice making machine in it as well, and as we go right around, that's the entry door that we came in. So if we walk, we're now looking out the door to go towards the processing room. As we look through the door to go towards the processing room, this wall in front of us separates the finished product from the raw products. The doorway to our right is a PA door with the curtains so that we can have thoroughfare to all areas of the factory. Walking through this little piece of corridor, you can see the door in front of us that is opened at the minute, and it closes off this hallway, which is the hallway we looked at earlier. And so all the finished product is on the other side of that doorway, and all the raw product is on this side of the doorway. If I turn right around, we're looking back into the unloading bay and the powerhouse for the refrigeration. This factory is totally temperature controlled in all of the processing areas, along with all water and all water and wastewater goes into this pit ahead of us. This pit has catching trays in it so that any rough material gets caught prior to going out to the 40,000 gallon septic tank outside. This factory is well equipped with hot and cold water and good 1-inch hoses at a total full pressure, whether 7 or 8 hoses are on at once. As we walk around a little bit, we're going past a wash basin, more hoses, and on the other side of that curtain is the start of our processing area. We have just entered into the processing area. This is a narrow part, and that's where we do all of our dirty processing work. As you can see on the floor, there is drainage the whole way along the floor. As the product gets further processed and it's cleaned and it is getting ready to be packed, it is about this area here where the room expands out into a much larger room. Once again, you can see hoses everywhere for cleaning down. The doors ahead of us are the PA door on the left-hand side with hand basins on both sides of the wall for people to robe and clothe themselves in the appropriate clothing for the process. The one straight ahead with the yellow trolley is just a spare little room, and the door to the right is to go out to the hallway passage that we saw earlier that takes a product finished product down to the freezers. As you can see, once again, it's all a lovely white room, and it is temperature controlled again. As we look to the left, we can see the windows which go right along the wall of the processing area and out to the cleaning area. We'll talk about these a little later. As we walk out the door to the right-hand side, down the corridor is where we would take the product and we would turn left prior to getting to that curtain down there. If I just quickly turn back around, this is the front end on the other side of the curtains, and this area is the office, the breakout room, and the toilets in this area. So this is a area that is still immaculately cleaned, but it is outside of the processing area. We'll go back in again, and we will walk down the corridor as if we are the finished product going to the freezers. On the right hand side, you will see a couple of smaller rooms that come out from the processing room, of which once again are temperature controlled in case we want to put product there to store it. Our little cleaning gurney there, and this room here is temperature controlled again, and it's where we put the bins and associated stuff that we have washed and we wish to dry. So it could be used for many different objects. If we turn back into the corridor again, we will turn left and go down this corridor here. And if I just stop for a second, this doorway here, when this is processing, that door is closed. And so on the other side of that door or that wall is where the raw material is. We walk down the corridor here, and now we're going into the freezing section of the factory. We have three main freezers down the back end here. As you can see, we have the forklift parked in the door of one, and this is the corridor right down to the back unloading bays or docking area. The first freezer is 8 pallets long and 4 pallets wide, and it too is a very good blast tunnel. That's what it was designed for and works very efficiently. The next one is a small storage freezer or a holding freezer, 8 pallets long, 3 pallets wide, a much smaller room, but still 36 on the floor. As we go down to the back, we'll turn around the corner here, and as you can see on the floor, the drainage extends right to the back of the factory here, and you can see hoses back here, so ample cleaning availability. Also, we use the back of this part of the factory for storing our empty shipping containers or fish bulk containers. As I go towards the room here, and just have a little quick look at the thermometer, and we'll open the door, and here is the room, what we call the main holding room. This holds 8 pallets on the floor, and it is a very good storage room. And 8 pallets on the floor and 6 along the wall, so 48 by 3 is around about 130 something. As we close the door and we go across the other side to the roller doors, 2 roller doors at the back of the factory, and these roller doors go to the loading docks and the gravel pathway. This property goes to the corner of that shed on the right hand side and swings right across to the shipping container, the brown shipping container corner on that side. It's a lovely, well-drained area. As we approach the building from the other end, we'll walk into the front PA door and we'll have a little look at what's inside there. The corridor ahead of us, the curtains, is the production curtain on the other side, the corridor where the product goes down to the freezers. On the left hand side you can see the office, and on the right hand side we have a small breakout room for people for refreshments. There are 2 sets of toilets in this factory, one for women and one for men. 2 cubicles for the women and a shower as well. Disability specifications are in all of these. This is the men's toilet, 1 urinal, 1 cubicle and 1 shower, hand basins again. As we leave the cubicles we can see 1 more PA door, and as we go down the corridor, which I mentioned earlier with the windows, is the public corridor, so people don't have to walk through the processing room if they're coming in from the loading dock, or if we happen to have a busload of tourists, then the tourists can stand here and watch what's happening in the processing room without having to robe up or go in there. The electrical circuitry and input is all here in the corridor, and all well and truly approved. The corridor goes down to the other end of where, when we go through the door, we will be back in to the unloading dock where the product basically comes into this factory. And once again, we can look through the windows and see what's happening on the other side. And now we are back at the start, and now you've had a virtual tour of the K&C Fisheries Wabasha Food Processing Factory. Thank you very much.